I'm going to show some really, really cool stuff about my indie game, Dash for Your Life. We're going to talk about some things like the story mode, customization, my achievement system, and some other things. My editor, level editor. So we got a splash screen, of course. Got to have a splash screen. And first thing I'm going to do, so this is the menu. First thing I'm going to do is go into the options. I want to change my presets. So in the options, we got sound, we got some video stuff, all placeholder, whatnot, and we got some controls. All placeholder. But then I'll just highlight quickly. I really like this little, you see the effect when you hover over pressable things. I think that's pretty cool. So we got some customization over here. We'll go to that later. Here's some monsters. We'll talk about those later. We're going to start with the story mode. The idea of Dash for Your Life is this is a normal platformer game that has been infected by the monsters from another video game. And with that, you've got a new buddy, this cursor. So this cursor doesn't belong in the game, as do some of these monsters. And what we've got here is a basic world screen, so you can move the camera around. You've got levels, 3 levels, and these ones are locked, this one and this one, because we haven't beat this one, right? So we've got an achievement system for that. It just works, of course. So let's click on the first one, and when you click on a level, it actually loads, and there's now a thumbnail. So every level has a thumbnail. You can make thumbnails. I'll show you that for the editor later. I know it's a little bit low quality, and we can play it. So very representative of Geometry Dash, you'll see. I have not yet done the art design, which would separate it more from the game. My primary focus has been on gameplay. So as I said, you have the cube. This is your guy. Very similar. The physics feel great, I must say. We've got points up here. We've got a timer for speedrunning stuff. And what we're going to do, grab that point bubble, so that our points went up. So there's things to keep you busy in the level. You got bubbles to collect. You got points. And the real inspiration of the game is a mix of Geometry Dash and Little Big Planet. So let's just jump here. Oh, I died. Split into a million parts. And the idea is it's a mix, of Little Big Planet. I love Little Big Planet. So these bubbles are clearly inspired by Little Big Planet. And you can see that up there. We've got a progress bar, but what you can see is that we're actually in mud. So if we jump up and down, we're now slower inside the mud. See how our player is a little bit slower? And it coats us with some mud, and then it goes away once you're out of the mud. And you can see some slope physics. And these right here are monsters. So we'll talk about those a little bit later, but you do not want to die to those ones. You do not want to die to those ones. There's more than one monster, but basically, I'll show you once we beat this level on the next one. Speedrunning time, and I love the mud effect. I think it looks so cool. I also think it's quite satisfying just to pop bubbles all the time. Hopefully it's not too loud for my audio. I should actually check that. So we beat it. We got an achievement. Beat the level mud bath. And we got an achievement, beat the level mud bath. 2 things, and another one, complete mud bath with a high score. So we got all the point bubbles. So now, if we go back to the main menu, and you can see that the next level has been unlocked. Fast Forward is the name, so now we can look at that one. But if we go back to the main menu, I'll just quickly spoil a little bit. We've got new icons that have been unlocked. So this is the customization screen. We've got statistics. We've got achievements. We're not going to look at all those yet. And we've got 3 color channels. You can change the color of your icons. You see it updates all of them nicely. And then you can see, this is another icon. So complete the level mud bath very fast. That's a speed running reward. You have icon glow, of course. You need icon glow. Some more achievements. So there's more color channels. And what I haven't shown here is while there's not that many colors, I can add a new color in 10 seconds. So I can add infinite colors. Let's go to the next level. So we've got my new icon, my new color. Let's play fast forward. So you can see this time we've got some colors. So it's a different color. Look at this. It nicely breaks into all the pieces. So here we've got a trigger. This is forced movement trigger. And also I'll highlight that if you look at the progress bar, it's got my icon. So when we hit this, a monster goes on our cursor. And I know it looks a little bit goofy. A monster's on a cursor and it's forcing us to move to the right. Similar to another game. And then this is a stop trigger. I didn't really demonstrate it, but when you get there, the monster goes away. So the monster's back on us. So we're forced to move to the right because they have infected this game. Stop it. And then let's go backtrack a little bit now that we no longer have the forced movement. Let's collect all these point bubbles. Why not? It's satisfying. And then here, this part's a little bit broken. Whoop. Okay, there we go. A little bit troublesome. Stop it. And this is the hardest part of the level. This part is crazy difficult. So let's, thank goodness. Okay, so now we can go to this section. I missed 1 point bubble. That's okay. No! Also, one thing I'll mention is I apologize for the poor audio quality. I don't have a choice. I moved, and I no longer have a nice setup. It is quite unfortunate. It's very satisfying to get these point bubbles. And we'll go to the third level, which is bigger fish. So we can play this. And this is where we're going to start talking about the monsters. So here's a monster spike, and there is a monster spike. If I were to hit it, it would do a little bit of a jump scare. So you they'll get you when you're not expecting it. So here, jump scare. So the game is kind of like a kid-friendly horror game. Remember, it's about your video game has been invaded by these monsters, and they are trying to take over. They have infected the game. Oh, okay, so we have forced movement right now. Let's go get these point bubbles. But that is a monster, and now we are stuck in the slow mud while trying to run away. And we can try to get this, and oh, so that there would be a jump scare. But he is relentless. He just chases after you. And the idea is this mud slows you down, and you have to kind of get away, right? Run away while he's chasing you, and oh, I hate this part. Oh, okay. And you might think like, oh, I'm safe if I go up a little bit higher. But he can jump. He can jump high. So this guy will be present in many of the levels. And we beat the level bigger fish, and we completed the level bigger fish. We got a high score in the level bigger fish, so we got that cool icon. And yeah, that's another high score one. These obviously are not done levels. They just demonstrate some of the things that are in the game. But that is the main baddie, or one of the main baddies. You can see that there is a whole collection of baddies here. You got the monster spike, the red one. We'll look at these guys in a little bit. So let's look at this customization we got. We got some new colors. So we have 3 color channels, like I said, change them any way that we want. And we got this cursor. You can see that it has some cool ice particles. So if we go back into a level, now you have those cool particles, and you can see that there's some weird glitches. I don't know why those are there. So not only do we have 3 color channels in Dash for Your Life, we've got animated icons. So you can see I'm able to make a bunch of different, this is just one example, but this is a choo-choo train, and this is my favorite icon in the game. And he basically is animated. He has the little wheels going round and round and stuff. And I love this icon. It's so cool. Like, it just feels fun to play with. I really love this icon. So these are the cool customization things I have. We could do animated icons. We could do icons that have like cool properties and stuff. A little bit of scope creep, but we've got one animated icon here that I really, really like. Achievements. So yeah, we've got achievements. This is the list of achievements here. Basically, you can see the ones that you've unlocked. It automatically updates, so I don't have to manually add these. The backend system is done. It doesn't look the prettiest right now. We can change that later. Anything else here? Statistics, the levels. So now we can start looking around at the editor. Very work in progress, but we can open up the editor, and this is what we're looking at. So this is the Dash for Your Life editor. So we've got blocks. So here we can place stuff. We can grab and select. So we've got different options. We've got the build, edit, and delete. Very similar to the Geometry Dash one. I do like Geometry Dash's editor quite a bit, so I was inspired by that. And yeah, you could build levels. So we can just, add some blocks. These are the only blocks that I have right now. I have not added new ones. And then we have a copy paste. These are simple features that you don't think much about, but adding a copy paste is pretty cool. Having it actually work in the game. Software wise, that's pretty impressive. You don't appreciate it until you actually try to make it. So you can make these levels. And every level is saved as a single file. So it's going to be a file on your computer. And all the levels that you saw me play, I made, of course, with the editor. So we have the mud here. And one thing I'll highlight here is that you can have nothing open, but you can have multiple tabs open. Here I have like this one, and you can choose which ones you want open. So we'll start looking. These are blocks. These are big blocks. Then we got half blocks. So if we close that, we got half blocks, the mini blocks, and you have a different grid size, of course. And then we've got some slopes, and that is a cool one. So we're gonna look at that. Let me just copy this, paste it. Let's just put it here, and then save and exit. Oh, and then we can play it. So we just made a bunch of stuff, and now we're playing the level. Let me show you real quick. We have the user level, you can name it, user generated level, and here you can take a picture. So let's take a picture of this. And now that there is the thumbnail. So I just made the thumbnail of my level. And then here's the point system. So this is the number of points to get the point reward and the time to get the time reward. 80. Save and exit. Okay, so now we get the points. Boom, got the points. And you can add the speedrunning one as well. So if we beat it in less than 20 seconds. So we got both the achievement for speedrunning and points. So like I said, we have ramp physics. I actually think that I've created really satisfying physics. We also, I'll quickly highlight some of the options that we have. We have the copy paste, right? We've got rotate. We've got rotate 45. I'm doing it with hotkeys, but you have it here. Rotate less. We have shrink and expand. I mean, you can kind of do some crazy stuff. But I mean, look at I love the physics. It's just so satisfying to go back and forth. I don't know. I really like it. I think it's a good job. And then you can kind of see more satisfying physics if we were to do something like, let's just grab this, grab you. Let's just copy paste these guys. If we go something like this, so and then we just boink, boink, just kind of jump around. I think it's really fun. There are some bugs, some little bugs, but I think it's pretty good for the most part. I didn't really show it, but you have swipe controls, you have edit, swipe, so you can grab everything. You can free move objects anywhere you want. You also have snapping, so if you want to snap, boom, snaps to the grid into the middle. Also, one thing I'll highlight is the cube can move on any object. So you can rotate stuff however you please. So if we have this square, we copy paste it and we want to rotate it just a tiny bit, maybe like that, jump on it. And we automatically snap to it. So you can have stuff any rotation possible. So just jumping up these blocks, really fun. I find it fun, at least. Maybe you could put some point bubbles. Grab those point bubbles. So there's the mud. You can add that as well into your level. We have the circles. Now these guys are cool, I think. So if we add circles, watch this. Is that not the most satisfying thing that you have ever seen in your life? I could do this for hours. I do not want to even try to explain how much time it took me to get that to work. A very, 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 very long time. The physics of this game have been tough. Okay, so let's get rid of the circles. I'm a little bit tired of the background being this color. I'm going to change it to maybe that color. Let's change the ground. So we've got some color customization. We'll go over that really quick. We have color channels. So if I grab all these objects, I edit this. So there's two edit things. I edit here. Oh boy. We've got layering. So if you want to do some cool decorations, so this guy is now behind it. See, you can choose the layering of the guy. So this one is behind. That's like a decoration one. Because I moved these ones, I increased the Z layer. So now if I decrease the Z layer, you can see that guy's now behind. So that's cool. But then we have groups and we have color channels. So if I want to make this color 2, now this guy is red. So, and then I can make all of these color 2 as well. Now when you play it, of course, it's going to show the colors. You can have multiple color channels. So let's make a new color channel. Color 3, let's make it blue. So now we got a blue one. And you can do that to all objects. So this here is decorations. So these would be something that you would color. So this decoration is in front of the player. It doesn't interact with the player, but you could also move it behind the player. So I just moved it behind the player. Now we also have, let's start talking about some cool stuff. So here are the point bubbles. Now this category is for cursor interactable objects. If we put those down, you grab those point bubbles. So this here is a grabbable object. Now by default, what it does is if I were to have blocks like this and we play the level, there's no way to get past, but if you click on it with your cursor, it vanishes. So this is really one of the big things of this game that I introduce. Let's just grab this. So boom, boom, now we can get past. But the cool thing is you can edit the special properties. So not only can you edit the basic properties, if you edit the special properties, you can make it so it doesn't delete itself and it activates a target group. So it's no longer deleting itself. What's a target group? I'm gonna jump the gun. This here is a color trigger. If I change the color, let's change it to this purple. And I know it's not a good UI. This is color channel. Let's do color channel 4. It's going to take 1.5 seconds fade time. The special object, we're going to turn it red. And now if we change all of these to be color channel 4, which is going to start out as blue. Now when we play and we hit that trigger, it transfers to red. Watch this. If I make this block activate target group 1, maybe what we do is we move it up here. Activate target group 1, and this here, we add to group 1. So add to group 1. Now, when we play, if I hit that, it activates that color channel. So, I mean, it gets even better. Let's copy this. Let's change this to target group 2. Let's add another one of these. Let's change the group of this one. We're going to remove group 1. We're going to add group 2. The color from red to green. How about that? Now, when we play, this one changes it red, and this one changes it green. The next one that we're going to talk about, which is one of my favorites, this guy. We add these and these. So right here, I have this block, and right here, I have these other blocks. And what we can do is now when we play it, we can walk past this, but we can also move this one with the cursor. So you can make a door. Excusez-moi, s'il vous plaît. There you go. Can't get past it. Oh, now you can get past it. And let's go like this. And we're going to add a block like that, a block like that. I think you'll find this pretty cool. Add these to a group. We're going to add it to group 5. And then this is going to activate target group 5. So now, let's just say that there's some spikes. How about these guys? Here's some spikes. We can move our drawbridge down and cross. Haha! You can do some silly things because you could also have this one could be group 5. When we go to this guy, he moves that one down, and then this one you could just move around wherever. So when they're floating by themselves, you can actually have your guy chill on them, and you can run along. Whee! So you can have some fun with that. I really like doing this. You just run around, and then, yeah, like I said, it blocks those. So we can actually do some pretty cool stuff with that. In fact, we can make automobiles. I have invented automobiles. So let's make a car. So we'll have to have a moving block, of course, and then we'll have to have another moving block. But this one, here's our car. We're gonna have wheels, of course. Here's one wheel, 2 wheel, and of course a car has to have a windshield. I don't know how to make a windshield, but this is pretty good. And then this one, I want it to be on top, so I'm going to increase the Z. So let's move this guy here. Now we're going to add this. We want these to be group 10, and then this is going to activate group 10. So now we got a little hatch, and then we have to add everything but that one. That's the only thing I haven't. Oh no, it doesn't matter. This we're all going to make group 11. Okay, so we hop in the car, close the door, and now we're zooming. It's so stupid, but I think it's kind of cute. Took a while to make the car. Of course, it flies. You can change that, but that's our car we just made. Yeah, you can make some really silly stuff. I think it's fun. I really like that, the silly stuff. Okay, we'll keep going. So we showed off the grabbable objects. So that's one of the big things that separates this game from, I guess, its inspiration. The grabbables, regardless of how buggy they are. I like these. There's imagine you could make it so it I don't know, you can make some pretty cool stuff, I feel like. But next we're going to talk about triggers. So we of course have a level start trigger and a level end trigger. We have a changing background trigger. So if I want to change the background mid-level, pachow, they can be activated by these guys. So if I make this guy group 2, then when you grab this, the one on the right, it should change the background. Pachow. Oh, the one on the left, same thing. So the one on the left changes the background. And it's just an example background that I have. You also have a ground, so we can change the ground. There's the ground. Oh, there's only one ground right now. Then we have the stop trigger, and that basically stops any trigger. So if the color is changing, it will stop it. I mean, the greatest example of this is that automatic movement. So boom, the monster's on your guy. So I can't stop moving left. So when that happens, if I were to add then in a stop trigger, you could target group ID, let's do 4, and then this one, we add group 4. So now, automatic move and then stop. But you could also make it so that this stop trigger gets activated by one of these guys. We check, this is target group 2, so if I add the stop trigger to be activated by a trigger and I add this to group 2, now, when we walk past it, it's still moving. But if we walk past it, or we don't need to walk past it, if we right-click this, stop. Stopped us. Okay, so we've gone over some of that. Then, of course, you have the big red guy. So this guy, the idea is he's going to be chasing you while you're going through levels and trying to run away from him, and he's relentless. He does not stop. A little bit loud right now. That's okay. So he's going to be chasing you through some of the levels. He's a monster. And that actually brings us nicely into the next monsters. We can hide him, and these are the other monsters. The other monsters, the idea is that monsters are kind of a distraction. So while you're platforming, this here is the yellow monster. And to get rid of him, you have to click. And if you don't get rid of him, you die, and there's going to be a jump scare. So the idea is he's going to be scaring you if you don't do it. So you can imagine you're stressfully going through a level, right? And then you're running through, monster, okay, go, monster, trying to get through, monster, collect the point bubbles, monster, monster. So it's kind of hectic is the idea. Like you're supposed to be multitasking, focusing on a bunch of different things. And there's another monster. If we edit the special, we've got the circle, we've also got an arrow. This one you have to drag and then let go. So, drag. So you can imagine trying to get through a level and these guys keep popping up and stuff. We'll do that a little bit later. So let's remove the arrow and we'll add the pentagon. That's not a pentagon. Here's the pentagon. You grab it and you have to drag it over to its slot. So you see that there's a slot, drag it over to the slot. If I make the probability of each of them 1, so they all have equal probability, now this trigger will spawn a random one. And I'm going to have to get rid of them as I go. Distracting. So while my cube is playing the level, the cursor is removing the monsters. And also, interacting with these, moving the blocks. So we can actually make this really fun, and you can make some crazy stuff. If we add some spikes, we add a spike here maybe, some spikes. Now I'm gonna set up an infinite trigger. So this is gonna activate another trigger within a maximum time. So if I do 1 second, 7 seconds, it's a random time between then. You can make it a specific time as well. So now when we go past this one, you'll see this activates that trigger. So this guy is activating this one and this one. This guy is activating this one. So it's going to be an infinite loop. It should, every 1 second, spawn a monster. So now, now you gotta go crazy through the level. You gotta, every 1 second, move, oh my god. And it starts to get hectic. It's just crazy. You gotta just manage your stuff. And sometimes, so here's the crazy part. Now you have to stop pretty much every time you want to get rid of these monsters. So what happens if now you add the red guy? Imagine that. So now you're trying to get past all these guys, manage everything on your screen while not getting, oh man, it gets crazy. So it gets quite hectic is the idea. So this is kind of the gameplay idea for the actual game. This is what I intend it to be played like. Oh, I died. And of course, it would jump scare you if you got killed by any of these monsters. So it's super stressful, super high energy, I guess. You're trying to multitask while getting past all of these things. Oh. Okay. There we go, we beat the level. So the last thing, this was the newest thing that I've added. So this here is supposed to be a material. And a material is kind of a cool block idea. So if you click this, now it adds the borders and you can move it. But you can see that there's a lot of bugginess, like a lot of bugginess. So this here now is a material and you go into it and you can just run on that. So you could make stuff like any shape. That's kind of the idea with materials. Inspired by Little Big Planet, of course. Yeah, I don't know if I would finish these, but and this is a decorative material. So yeah, these are decorative materials. Of course, it looks ugly, but the idea, the concept is there. And yeah, this is our cool little level that we made together, where you have to run past, move stuff out of the way. I could imagine that people can make some pretty cool stuff if you have a bunch of objects that you could use, like a huge block selection. So yeah, that's pretty much everything with the editor. I think I've showed all the neat stuff. I guess the last thing that I'll talk about is realistically the issues with the game. Yeah, so I guess the biggest problem is it comes from the fact that it is inspired by GD, Geometry Dash, that separating myself from that game is quite difficult. So even the art style, I mean, you look at this and it immediately looks like GD other than whatever. And I could add new block designs, but I don't know if that solves that problem. So I'm a little bit worried about that. I'm not so much worried about people not having fun with the game. I think that this game's actually really fun. You can do a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, there's some glitches with stuff. I don't really care. Glitches are fun every once in a while. So there's the issue that this game kind of is, it is overshadowed with GD, and that's not the problem. It's more so the expectation. Since it is inspired by Geometry Dash, there's an expectation for an online whatever. There's an expectation for a lot of different things, and I don't think I can do all of those. I realistically, I cannot, make as much content, as much stuff as that. The other issue is that because there is no online, so that's one of the big negatives of this game, while you can transfer the levels as files, I would not be doing online. That's kind of a problem because there's no incentive to actually build levels, really, since there is no online. So will people actually use this editor that I spent a long time making? I don't know. Probably not. The other issue is that I've been building levels in GD for quite a while, probably 6 years or something like that, 7, 8 years. And building levels in this game is pretty similar to building levels in GD. And I kind of stopped building levels in GD because I was tired of it. So now you can imagine that I have to build an entire video game's worth of levels. I've thought about potentially hiring people to do level design. I think there is an issue, though, because the level design of this game, when people see this, they immediately want to make levels that you would play in GD. They wouldn't make levels that are capitalizing on the cursor, the monsters, having mud that slows you down and point bubbles that you have to collect and stuff like that. So I think it's tough to design levels because you kind of have to know what you're designing. And I mean, a lot of the systems are there. Realistically, the amount of effort that I have to put in to make this, because I do need to make the levels, is quite difficult, So I don't know. Yeah, I guess high level. I mean, I think this game is pretty impressive. I think I've done a really good job of a lot of it. There's a lot more work. And because there is a significant amount more work, I don't know how realistic it is that I can actually finish the game. So we'll see. I think part of the problem is I also have, I know it's the age-old issue of you have another game that you think is better. But if you think about the amount of time and effort to make levels for a platformer, it's quite a bit. And then people will always compare this game and say that it is not as good as GD, even though I do want it to be, good. There will always be the comparison that this is a crappy knockoff. So I think there's a lot of things that kind of make it tough, especially because I think the content in this game is actually quite significant, even though it doesn't look like it. Yeah, I think there's some issues with the amount of stuff there is. And you see, the other game that I've worked on, and then I have in a good state, it's so much easier because it's randomly generated stuff. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I don't want to leave this on a depressing note, but this is the progress that I've made for Dash for Your Life. I hope you thought it was cool. I hope you liked it, and I hope you think it's a neat looking game. How much time I will have to work on it in the future, that is a little bit of a problem because, as I think I mentioned in the beginning, I do have full-time work now, and realistically, you don't have significant time to work on stuff. But I think what I've done here is pretty impressive. I'm pretty proud of it. All these cool little things. I mean, the back end, what you don't see, the stuff in the background for the achievements, for all of this, the editor, whatnot, I think it's really impressive. I'm really proud of it. I think that will be it for the update. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope it wasn't too long. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video.